The name of Vic Buckingham may not ring many bells amongst football fans today, but he had a huge influence on the game. Buckingham took West Brom to glory in the 1950s, gave Johan Cruyff his debut for Ajax, and is considered one of the godfathers of total football. Sadly though, his name has been largely lost to time. This is a story of Vic Buckingham, the man English football forgot. Vic Buckingham was born in Greenwich on the 23rd of October 1915. He would spend his entire playing career at Tottenham Hotspur, turning out over 200 times in the wing half position, before he hung up his boots in 1949. The end of his career saw him meet one of his biggest influences in Arthur Rowe, who later took Tottenham to their first top-flight title, with his possession-based style of play serving as an inspiration for Buckingham. Buckingham began his coaching career soon after, where he started off as manager of Pegasus, an amateur side made up of Oxford and Cambridge University students. He won the FA Amateur Cup with them in 1951, defeating Bishop Auckland in front of 100,000 spectators at Wembley. His push and run style of passing play on show was similar to that of Rowe's Tottenham, and it would become a trademark of Buckingham's career. Buckingham focused on patient passing play, with the midfield being key, rather than the Route 1 style so common across English football at the time. He soon took over at 3rd Division side Bradford Park Avenue, before taking a big step by joining West Bromwich Albion in 1953. Buckingham brought instant results. Under him, West Brom became an exciting, attacking team, and finished second in that season's top flight, behind Wolves. Buckingham would be back at Wembley that year as well, with West Brom facing Preston in the FA Cup final. A dramatic final saw West Brom take the lead through Ronnie Allen, before Preston netted twice to go in front. A second from Allen levelled the scores though, and a late goal from Frank Griffin won the FA Cup for Buckingham's Baggies. Future managers Bobby Robson and Don Howe would play for Buckingham at West Brom, and both later cited him as an influence. Buckingham remained at West Brom until 1959, making him their longest-serving post-war manager. He would take the job at Ajax Amsterdam. It was a surprise at the time, with West Brom viewed as one of the big five in English football, whilst football in the Netherlands was still growing. Buckingham felt he had the right group of players at Amsterdam, who already had footballing talent. He just had to teach them his way. He preached his possession-based play to them, and his methods soon drew results. Ajax won the Eredivisie title under Buckingham in 1960, and the foundations he planted would lead to them dominating Europe in the early 1970s. Buckingham left Ajax in 1961, opting to return to England with the Sheffield Wednesday job. The Owls had spent a number of years yo-yoing between divisions, but under Buckingham they experienced 3 consecutive 6th place finishes in the First Division, as well as reaching the quarter-finals of the Fairs Cup. Here they were defeated by FC Barcelona, who were impressed by Buckingham's style and made a note of his name. In 1964, Buckingham was informed his time at Sheffield Wednesday would come to an end, as 3 of his former players were involved in a betting scandal. Buckingham had no part in it, but the Wednesday board felt they needed a new manager with the discipline to prevent players from partaking in such a scandal, so went in a different direction. Buckingham went to Ajax for a second spell with the club, although the results were poor. The players he previously coached were ageing, and so he had to turn to youth. In 1964, he handed a debut to a young midfielder named Johan Cruyff. Cruyff later spoke about Buckingham's influence, saying that Buckingham was important because he showed professionalism to the developing Dutch game. Cruyff would later name Buckingham as the godfather to one of his children. Buckingham left Ajax for the final time in 1965, with Rinus Michels taking over, who with the foundations Buckingham had set, took the club to new heights. Buckingham returned to England again, this time taking the reins at Fulham, trying desperately to keep the ship afloat. They battled relegation for a number of years, but Buckingham's purchase of forward Alan Clark is said to have kept them up for a number of years. There are several tales from his time at Fulham that display his management style, such as how he would call the whole team in for a meeting the day after a bad result, before he entered the room, silently read a newspaper, then got up and drove home. He also tried to teach defender Bobby Keach how to improve his balance by performing a Fred Astaire dance routine in front of him, saying that the routine would help the defender perfect his balance. Keach responded by swearing at Buckingham and was shipped off to the lower divisions, where he would spend the rest of his career. Eventually, Buckingham and Fulham parted ways, and the club were finally relegated a few months later. Buckingham went abroad again for his next job, to Ethnikos Pyrrhus in Greece, before receiving a call from Barcelona. At the time, the Catalans were around the bottom of La Liga. Buckingham turned their fortunes around. He was given opportunities to renovate the club, and did so by focusing on their youth system, as well as campaigning to end the ban on signing foreign players. By the end of his first season, he had taken them all the way up to 4th place. In his next campaign, he narrowly missed out on the league title, but won the Copa del Rey after defeating Valencia in the final. Unfortunately, Buckingham had to step down as Barcelona manager after a back operation, and was succeeded once again by Rinus Michels. Due to the end of the ban on signing foreign players that Buckingham had lobbied for, Johan Cruyff would soon join Barcelona too. After recovering from surgery, he returned to Spain with Sevilla, but couldn't save the club from relegation. Further spells in Greece followed with little success, and his managerial career came to an end in 1980. Vic Buckingham died on the 26th of January 1995 at the age of 79. Whilst he was mourned by Barcelona and Ajax alike, his passing went largely unnoticed in his homeland. Vic Buckingham had a huge influence on football, as the likes of Bobby Robson, Johan Cruyff, Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho all became successful in part because of what Buckingham set in motion. He was years ahead of his time, focusing on a style of play that would become the norm far before many others, and gained silverware in 3 different countries to show for it. It is a tragedy how overlooked Buckingham is, as without him, football could well be a very different game.